Now is Atlanta's own Ludacris, the Grammy Award-winning rapper, singer, actor, and activist. Ludacris, thank you so much for joining us. And tell us, what do you make of the voting mess there in your home state?
Oh man, it's exactly what he said. And by the way, just so that everyone knows, somebody had to let me know this. The Supreme Court on Tuesday, they effectively struck down the heart of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 by a 5-4 vote. So that's freeing 9 states, mostly in the South. Remember that, mostly in the South, to change their election laws without advance federal approval. So we should be questioning why that is as well. But it's definitely crazy. Luckily, I early voted, but all of the crazy things that went on yesterday, they shouldn't be happening. Just like he said, they should not be happening.
Are you worried that this is what's going to go on come November?
I'm definitely worried about it because, like you said, just like he said, you don't see this going on in other communities besides the black community. And he said this should have been taken care of 3 to 4 months ago. So if you look in the future, 3 to 4 months, this needs to be fixed immediately, and we shouldn't be having any excuses like that.
So you've been out, we've seen you out with protesters in Atlanta demanding an end to police brutality and systemic racism. There's a picture that we have of you holding up a Black Lives Matter sign. And you also were in Minneapolis. You traveled there to attend the first memorial service that was held for George Floyd, and you met with his family. Tell us why you thought it was important to be there, and tell us what you talked with them about, what you wanted to discuss with them.
It was important for me to pay my respects. One, there were so many different people there, and especially to hear from his family. And, you know, I'm here. I don't have all the answers myself. I'm here to learn as much as I possibly can. And when I did get a chance to talk to the family, I was just thanking them for their strength and letting them know that we were going to go back to our cities and make sure that we continue to fight, because obviously I've been taking care of my community for as long as I can remember and trying to help out. But it feels good that there is a certain amount of change that we are seeing that's going to help us out even further with communities that we feel like we've been basically helping out on our own. So now we're starting to get some help. So it was just important to give them that confidence and for that family to give us the same confidence back.
You are trying to give confidence to kids, which we look at your T-shirt there, Kid Nation. So this is a big project of yours, educating children through your website, Kid Nation. You just released a couple of new videos, but one of them is about racial unity called Get Along. I want to watch a clip of this.
Yeah.
That's how it feels sometimes. With all the trouble in the world and how it scares a little girl, it makes me wanna cry. 'Cause I'm scared to go outside because the world is so divided on who's wrong or right, black or white. Can we all just get along? Get along.
I think we're seeing, Ludacris, out there that there's an appetite for people who are trying to explain to their children, who are honestly asking some of the most basic, poignant questions about everything that's going on. It's beautiful, right, to hear them ask questions. Tell us about why this was so important to you to try to reach out to them.
It's so important to me just because, you know, kids are still impressionable, and they lead with love. And they're very innocent and they're very honest. And so I feel like we have so much more to learn from them than we can teach them at this moment. So I'm glad you showed a clip of that, because it's bringing the world to tears by watching this video. And it's like, it's on kidnation.com, but it's a conversation that needs to be had nonetheless, depending on how old your kids are. But these type of music videos and these type of songs, which by the way is giving a voice to the kids. You know what I mean? We do research groups and we find out what they want to talk about, and then we help facilitate that. So that's why this is so important, because we know that music is very, very, how much kids love music and how much it affects them, and it can help their motor skills and self-expression. So that's why I wanted to do this and to come with answers and solutions with all of the problems that are going on in the world today. So it means the world to me that the world is overwhelmingly loving this video and the things that we're putting out.
And I think our kids they're seeing things, right, on the TV. We have been watching protests in our house. I listened to one of our sons ask my husband, Daddy, why are they being so mean to those people when violence broke out at a protest on the end of police? And it's hard to know, what your kids are seeing and how to explain this to them. I wonder how you're explaining this to your kids.
Listen, I am being the change that I want to see. So by giving all the parents that are homeschooling right now another option and giving their kids something safe to look at, and there are more videos and songs on the way, by the way, because we're doing a full launch at the end of the summer. But at least we felt like it was an emergency to put these songs out. But you're right, having these conversations is hard to have them. And that's why I'm trying to do everything I can so that the next generation doesn't go through the problems and issues that we're going through. And I'm just trying my best. That's what I can do. Because everybody's saying, what is everybody doing? Well, I'm doing a lot of things, but this right here seems to be very impactful at the moment.
And I will mention real quickly, there's another great song on the website about washing your hands and hygiene, which is so important right now as we try to convince our kids, especially our smaller ones, why it's so important. I want to ask you about something that President Trump's top economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, just said. He became the latest White House advisor to say that systemic racism does not exist. Here's what he said.
And I don't believe there's systemic racism in the U.S. I'm not going to go into a long riff on it.
I think you're shaking your head. There's a lot of Americans who agree with him, Ludacris. What do you say to them?
I don't care about the Americans that agree with him. It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. And I can definitely say that all I feel like the Trump administration is doing is causing more dissension as opposed to unity in the world of today. And that's how I honestly feel. And you can quote me on that.
There's a lawyer for one of the officers who was charged in George Floyd's death who's now blaming bystanders. He says that if the bystanders were so concerned, they should have intervened to save Floyd's life. What's your reaction to that?
Man, listen, they're looking for any excuse to veer away from the issue at hand. And this video that all of us continue to look at over and over again, which has caused all of this conversation. So, like I said, it's a lot of negatives going on right now. I'm trying to focus on the positives just based on the conversations that are being had right now. So I want to look for solutions, and I appreciate love because love trumps hate. And that's what I feel like in the end, as long as we continue to preach love, we're going to get through this and we're going to make it better for our children, period.
I wonder what you think about the NFL, which we've just learned has come out and said Black Lives Matter. We saw an apology from Roger Goodell. What do you make of the league's response? And I wonder what you want to see moving forward here.
I love that. I think that's a great start. I feel like they should say who they're apologizing to, because we have to keep in mind that Kaepernick was doing peaceful protesting for a long time. And I stress the word peaceful. And nobody has apologized to him yet. So I feel like they need to say his name, because we're saying a lot of other names. And I love that everyone is doing that. But right now, they also need to make sure that in this apology or in this explanation, they talk about the person who began the peaceful protest of kneeling and why he did that, and admit that.
Yeah. Kneeling because he was told right by a former Green Beret about kneeling as a way to acknowledge that people of color were being hurt and killed by police, but also a way to show respect, as he saw, to the flag as well. Ludacris, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciated this conversation, and I can't wait to show my kids your videos on Kid Nation. They're very cool.
I appreciate that. KidNation.com, and follow us at Kid Nation on Instagram. I'm going to spread as much positivity and love that I possibly can. It means the world. Thank you very much. Love.